Welcome to the family. If you enjoy powerful stories and wild adventures, subscribe now, hit like and share with someone who will love it too. The transport ship Vagrant's Hope shuddered as alien tractor beams locked onto its hull. Captain Jake Morrison gripped his command chair, watching the massive vessel emerge from the asteroid field like a metallic leviathan. The alien ship dwarfed his cargo hauler by at least 50 times. "Captain, they're jamming all communications," reported his engineer Tom Bradley, fingers dancing across the control panel. "Whatever they want, they don't want anyone knowing about it." Jake's crew of 6 had been running routine supply drops to the outer colonies when the ambush occurred. The aliens had been waiting, patient as spiders in their web. Now, as docking clamps engaged with grinding metallic shrieks, Jake knew their peaceful mission had taken a dark turn. The airlocks hissed open, and creatures that defied human understanding flooded aboard. They stood nearly 8 feet tall, with elongated limbs that moved with unsettling fluidity. Their heads were triangular, dominated by large, multifaceted eyes that seemed to catalogue every detail. Most disturbing were their voices, a harmonious blend of tones that resonated directly in the humans' minds. "Specimens acquired," the lead alien announced, its voice carrying an almost musical quality that made Jake's teeth ache. "Transport to laboratory bays immediately." Despite their desperate resistance, the humans found themselves overwhelmed by technology that rendered their weapons useless. Energy nets paralyzed them without causing permanent damage, and soon they were being marched through corridors that pulsed with bioluminescent lighting. The alien ship's interior was a maze of organic curves and technological marvels. Walls seemed to breathe, and the floor beneath their feet felt warm and slightly yielding. Jake tried to memorize their route, but the alien architecture seemed designed to confuse non-native minds. They were separated into individual cells that looked more like medical bays than prison chambers. Jake found himself strapped to a table that adjusted to his body's contours with disturbing precision. Through a transparent wall, he could see Tom in a similar predicament, consciousness flickering in and out. The lead alien approached Jake's chamber, accompanied by others carrying devices that hummed with unknown energy. "Human specimens show promising physiological markers," it announced to its companions. "Muscle density, bone structure, and neurological patterns exceed baseline. Parameters for standard carbon-based life forms. What do you want with us?" Jake demanded, struggling against restraints that felt like liquid metal. The alien tilted its triangular head, multifaceted eyes focusing with laser intensity. "Your species has attracted attention across 17 star systems. Your kind's reputation for adaptability and resilience makes you ideal subjects for our enhancement protocols." Jake's blood ran cold. "Enhancement protocols? Your people call it evolution," the alien explained, producing a device that looked like a crystalline syringe. "We simply accelerate the process. Previous test subjects from other species showed promising results, though few survived the complete transformation." The syringe filled with a substance that seemed to shift colors constantly, sometimes golden, sometimes deep crimson, occasionally flashing with electric blue. Whatever it contained, it moved with purpose, as if alive. "The serum contains genetic markers from apex predators across 43 worlds," the alien continued, almost proudly. "Strength enhancement factors, accelerated healing properties, enhanced reflexes, and cognitive amplification compounds. Your species' unique adaptability should allow for successful integration." Jake watched in horror as similar syringes were prepared for his crew members. "You're experimenting on us." "We are improving you," the alien corrected. "Those who survive will become something far superior to baseline humanity. Consider it an honor." The injection site burned like liquid fire as the needle penetrated Jake's arm. The alien serum felt cold entering his bloodstream, but within seconds, that coldness transformed into searing heat that raced through his entire circulatory system. "What did you inject me with?" Jake screamed as his vision blurred, and his body began convulsing uncontrollably. The alien watched with clinical interest as Jake's vital signs spiked beyond normal human parameters. "The beginning of your evolution, human. Try to survive it." Jake's consciousness returned in fragments, like pieces of a shattered mirror slowly reassembling. The first thing he noticed was the pain, not the sharp, localized agony of injury, but a deep, systemic burning that seemed to originate from his very bones. His muscles felt like they were being torn apart and rebuilt simultaneously. Through the transparent walls of his medical bay, he could see Tom writhing in similar distress. The engineer's normally pale complexion had taken on an almost luminescent quality, veins visible beneath his skin like glowing rivers. 3 other crew members were visible in adjacent chambers, each displaying different stages of whatever transformation the alien serum was forcing upon them. "Fascinating," came the melodious voice of their captor. The lead alien stood observing them with multiple recording devices, its multifaceted eyes tracking every minute change. Human physiology is adapting to the enhancement compounds at unprecedented rates. Subject mortality predictions were clearly underestimated. Jake tried to speak, but his throat felt raw, as if he'd been screaming for hours. When he finally managed words, his voice sounded different, deeper, with an odd, harmonic quality. "How long?" 72 of your hours have elapsed since injection," the alien replied. "Most species begin rejection protocols within the first day. Your kind appears to be actually integrating the foreign genetic material." Jake attempted to sit up, and was shocked by the ease of movement. The restraints that had held him immobile now felt like suggestions rather than barriers. With minimal effort, he snapped the liquid metal bonds that had seemed unbreakable before. The alien's eyes widened, all dozen of them across its triangular head. "Impossible. Those restraints are rated for creatures 3 times your baseline strength parameters." Jake examined his hands with growing amazement and horror. His fingers looked the same, but the muscle definition in his forearms had increased dramatically. When he flexed, the movement felt effortless yet incredibly powerful. It was like discovering he'd been wearing weights his entire life without realizing it. "Tom!" Jake called to his engineer. "Tom, are you conscious?" Bradley's eyes snapped open, and Jake immediately noticed they'd changed color. Instead of their normal brown, they now held flecks of gold that seemed to shift and move. "Captain, I feel different, really different." "Different how?" Tom sat up, his own restraints snapping like rubber bands. "Everything's clearer. I can hear conversations from chambers we can't even see, and the ship's systems. I can somehow sense the power flow through the walls like feeling blood circulation." The alien backed away from their chambers, speaking rapidly into a communication device. Jake caught fragments of the conversation, though he shouldn't have been able to understand the alien language at all. Somehow the meaning was becoming clear in his mind. Subjects showing unprecedented adaptation rates, genetic integration successful beyond all parameters, enhanced strength, sensory perception, possible cognitive amplification. Recommend immediate escalation to Phase 2 protocols. Phase 2? Jake grabbed the chamber wall and his fingers left small cracks in what had appeared to be unbreakable material. "What's Phase 2? The alien turned back to them, and for the first time Jake detected something like concern in its alien features. Phase 2 was designed to test the limits of enhanced subjects, combat scenarios, extreme environmental challenges, psychological stress testing. It was developed for subjects who survived Phase 1 with minimal integration. Jake felt his heart rate increase, but instead of panic, he experienced a strange sense of anticipation. "And we're not showing minimal integration. Your species is rewriting the parameters entirely," the alien admitted. "The serum was designed to enhance existing capabilities. Your people appear to be developing entirely new ones." As if to demonstrate the point, Jake's crewmate Lisa suddenly spoke from her chamber, though her mouth never moved. Her voice resonated directly in everyone's minds. "Captain, I can hear their thoughts. Not clearly, but emotions, intentions, they're scared." The alien's communication device crackled with urgent messages from elsewhere on the ship. Jake was beginning to understand more of the language with each passing moment, and what he heard made his enhanced blood run cold. Multiple test subjects breaking containment, enhanced strength exceeding all projections, possible development of psionic capabilities, request immediate termination protocols. "They want to kill us," Jake announced to his crew, his voice carrying clearly to all the chambers despite the supposed soundproofing. The alien looked at him with what might have been respect mixed with fear. Your transformation is unprecedented. You are supposed to become enhanced versions of what you were. Instead, you're becoming something entirely new. Jake stood, feeling power coursing through his transformed body like electricity through copper wire. His crew was experiencing similar changes, enhanced strength, improved senses, and abilities that hadn't existed in baseline humanity. What exactly did you inject us with? Jake demanded, his voice carrying harmonics that made the chamber walls vibrate. The alien hesitated before answering. Genetic material from the apex predators of 43 worlds. We thought your species would integrate perhaps 10% of the enhancement factors. You're integrating them all, Jake smiled, and even he could hear the predatory edge in the expression. Then you've made a very serious mistake. The alien ship trembled as emergency klaxons wailed through corridors that had never known the sound of crisis. Jake Morrison stood in his shattered containment chamber, feeling power flow through his transformed body like molten metal through newly forged channels. Around him, his crew was experiencing similar awakenings to capabilities that defied human understanding. All subjects to immediate termination, the ship's communication system announced in the alien's melodious language. Jake understood every word now, the meaning flowing into his consciousness as naturally as breathing. Code Omega protocols authorized. Threat level exceeds all parameters. Tom Bradley laughed, the sound carrying strange harmonics that made the chamber walls resonate. They're talking about us like we're some kind of plague. Maybe we are, replied Lisa Kane from her broken containment unit. Her eyes now held swirls of silver that moved like liquid mercury. I can feel their fear, Captain. It's rolling off them in waves. They've never encountered anything like what we're becoming. Jake tested his new strength against the chamber's exit portal, applying pressure that would have been impossible for baseline humanity. The alien metal, supposedly indestructible, began to buckle and warp under his grip. How many of us made it through the transformation? All 6, announced Dr. Richards, the ship's medical officer, as he emerged from his own shattered confinement. Though I suspect we're just beginning to understand what we've become, my enhanced senses are detecting biological changes that shouldn't be possible. The lead alien researcher appeared at the end of the corridor, flanked by armed guards carrying weapons that hummed with lethal energy. Subjects will return to containment immediately, it announced, though Jake could hear the uncertainty underlying its harmonic voice. Termination protocols are being prepared for your own protection. Our protection? Jake stepped through the twisted remains of his chamber door, the alien metal parting like water around his enhanced form. Or yours. The alien guards opened fire, energy beams that could have vaporized steel striking Jake's transformed body. Instead of destruction, the weapons seemed to energize him further. His skin absorbed the energy, converting it into something that fed his already enhanced capabilities. Impossible, the lead researcher whispered. The weapons are specifically calibrated for enhanced biological targets. Jake felt his lips curve into a predatory smile. You based your weapons on your previous test subjects. We're not like them. Are we? Tom moved with speed that left after images, disarming 3 guards before they could react. The alien weapons crumbled in his enhanced grip like paper. Captain, I'm reading massive power fluctuations throughout their ship. Whatever they injected us with, it's not just changing us, it's affecting their technology. Lisa's voice resonated directly in their minds, bypassing the need for sound entirely. They're panicking. I can sense confusion throughout the ship. Their enhancement serum was supposed to create controllable super soldiers. Instead, they've awakened something they don't understand. The alien researcher backed away, speaking rapidly into its communication device. Jake caught fragments of the transmission. Human subjects displaying impossible adaptation rates, energy absorption capabilities, technological interference, patterns, recommend ship evacuation. Evacuation? Jake advanced down the corridor, his crew flanking him with fluid coordination that suggested their transformation included enhanced tactical awareness. So you started this experiment. Now you get to see it through to completion. Dr. Richards paused at a wall panel, his enhanced senses somehow interfacing with the alien technology. "Captain, I'm accessing their research data. The serum they injected us with, it contains genetic material from 43 different apex predator species, but there's something else. Something they didn't mention." "What?" "Ancient genetic markers they couldn't identify. DNA sequences that don't match any known life form in their databases. They included them in the serum because the patterns seem to enhance the integration process." Jake felt a chill that had nothing to do with the ship's temperature. "Unknown genetic markers?" The lead alien's triangular head tilted, its multifaceted eyes focusing with sudden understanding. "The unidentified sequences, they weren't from apex predators. They were from something else entirely, something our databases classified as extinct." "What kind of something?" Tom demanded, his voice carrying harmonics that made the alien technology around them flicker and spark. "Genetic echoes from species that transcended physical limitations," the researcher admitted. "Beings that evolved beyond baseline biology into something that could manipulate reality itself. We thought the sequences were degraded, non-functional." Lisa's mental voice carried a note of wonder and terror. "They're not degraded. They're awakening. I can feel something vast stirring in my consciousness, like memories that aren't mine." Jake examined his hands, watching as they seemed to phase, slightly out of normal reality. "You didn't just inject us with apex predator DNA. You gave us the genetic legacy of gods." The alien ship shuddered as emergency systems began failing throughout its structure. The very presence of the transformed humans seemed to create interference patterns that disrupted technology designed by a civilization millennia more advanced than Earth. "What are we becoming?" Dr. Richards asked, his voice carrying both awe and concern. Jake looked at his transformed crew, seeing the silver light beginning to emanate from their enhanced forms. Something they never intended to create, something that's going to change everything. The lead alien researcher made a final transmission before fleeing. "All ships maintain maximum distance. Humans have achieved unprecedented evolutionary leap. They're no longer bound by conventional physical laws. Repeat, the experiment has succeeded beyond all possible parameters. Humanity is ascending." The alien ship Nexus Prime hung in space, like a dying star, its bioluminescent hull flickering erratically as systems failed throughout its massive structure. Inside, Jake Morrison and his transformed crew moved through corridors that seemed to bend and warp around their enhanced presence. "Captain," Tom Bradley called from a junction ahead, his voice carrying clearly, despite the impossible acoustics, of the alien vessel. "I'm interfacing with their navigation systems. There are 17 more ships in this fleet, and they're all carrying human captives." Jake felt something stir within his consciousness, not quite memory, but inherited knowledge, from genetic sequences that predated recorded history. "How many humans total?" "Nearly 300 taken from colonies across the Outer Rim. They've been conducting these experiments for months." Dr. Richards approached from a side corridor, his enhanced form seeming to phase partially through the alien walls. "I've accessed their research archives. We weren't their first attempt at creating enhanced soldiers. They've experimented on dozens of species, but none survived the complete transformation process." "What made us different?" Lisa Kane asked, her mental voice resonating in all their minds simultaneously. "Human adaptability is apparently unique in their experience," Richards replied. "Most species have genetic limitations that prevent integration of foreign DNA. Humans seem to have an evolutionary flexibility that allows us to incorporate and improve upon any biological enhancement." Jake paused at a massive viewport, looking out at the fleet of alien vessels. Each ship was enormous, easily capable of carrying hundreds of test subjects. "They're not just experimenting on us, they're preparing for something larger." Tom's enhanced senses were now fully integrated with the ship's data networks. "Captain, you need to see this. They're planning to enhance entire human populations. The serum we received was just the prototype." The information flowed directly from Tom's consciousness into the minds of his crewmates. Images of Earth with massive ships approaching populated areas, plans for atmospheric dispersal of enhanced serums, projections showing the transformation of humanity into something that would serve alien interests. "They want to turn our entire species into their enhanced soldiers," Lisa's mental voice carried notes of rage that made the ship's hull groan under psychic pressure. Jake felt the inherited memories stirring more strongly now. Ancient knowledge of species that had faced similar threats, civilizations that had been forced to evolve or perish. Not soldiers, something more than that. Dr. Richards was still interfacing with the alien databases, his consciousness diving deeper into their research archives. The genetic markers they couldn't identify, they're not just from extinct species, they're from humanity's own future. That's impossible, Tom protested. Not impossible. The aliens discovered them in ancient ruins scattered across multiple star systems, genetic sequences that matched human DNA but were far more advanced than current human genetics. They thought they were archaeological curiosities. Jake understood with sudden, terrible clarity. They found evidence of what humanity becomes, and they decided to accelerate the process under their control. The ship shuddered as Jake's enhanced form began to emit energy that interfaced directly with reality itself. His crew was undergoing similar manifestations, their transformed bodies, becoming conduits for forces that transcended physical law. "We are not becoming what they intended," Lisa observed, her form beginning to shimmer with silver light. "We are becoming what we were always meant to become." An emergency transmission crackled through the ship's communication system. The lead researcher's voice carried panic that transcended species barriers. "All vessels implement maximum containment protocols. Human subjects have achieved Class Omega evolutionary status. They're exhibiting reality manipulation capabilities." Jake smiled, feeling power flow through him that made his earlier enhanced strength seem trivial by comparison. "Tom, can you access the other ship's prisoner containment systems?" "Already working on it, Captain. The enhanced consciousness seems to give me direct interface capability with any technology. I can free every human captive simultaneously." "Do it." Across 17 alien vessels, containment systems that had never failed suddenly opened. Hundreds of confused and terrified humans found themselves free in the corridors of ships that represented technology, centuries beyond Earth's capabilities. But Jake and his crew were no longer limited by such considerations. Their transformed consciousness expanded beyond the confines of individual ships, reaching out to every human captive across the fleet. Lisa's mental voice spoke directly to all of them. "Don't be afraid. We're here to take you home." Jake felt his awareness expand beyond his physical form, encompassing the entire alien fleet. With casual effort that surprised even him, he began to reshape the alien vessels, converting their hostile environments into spaces suitable for human habitation. "What are we doing to them?" Dr. Richards asked, watching as alien technology responded to their will like clay in the hands of sculptors. "We're taking what we need," Jake replied, "and giving these aliens a choice. They can accept humanity as we're becoming, or they can find another part of the galaxy to call home." The lead alien researcher's final transmission carried resignation along with its fear. "Humanity has achieved transcendence. The experiment is concluded. All species are advised to maintain peaceful contact protocols. Humans are no longer bound by conventional limitations." Jake looked out at the stars, feeling the presence of his transformed crew and the hundreds of humans they'd liberated. Earth seemed very small and very far away, but he knew they would return there eventually. "Captain," Tom asked, "what do we do now?" Jake smiled, feeling ancient wisdom flowing through consciousness that was no longer entirely human. "Now we go home and show our species what we've become, and then we help them choose what humanity becomes next." The alien fleet began to disperse, their ships fleeing from beings that had exceeded every parameter of their enhancement protocols. Behind them, Jake and his people began the long journey home, carrying with them the promise of transformation that would change humanity forever. The converted alien vessel New Horizon cut through space with technology that defied conventional physics. Jake Morrison stood on what had once been the bridge of an alien warship, now transformed by his crew's enhanced abilities into something that served humanity's needs. Around him, 300 liberated humans worked to understand their new reality. "Captain," announced Dr. Richards, his consciousness interfacing directly with the ship's navigation systems, "we're approaching the outer edge of Earth's solar system. The journey that should have taken months has been completed in just 3 weeks, Jake nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility for every human life aboard their transformed vessel. Not all of the rescued colonists had survived the alien enhancement process. Those who had were displaying varying degrees of transformation, from simple physical enhancement to abilities that bordered on the miraculous. "Any word from Earth Control?" Jake asked. Tom Bradley, his form now permanently wreathed in faint electrical discharges, shook his head. "They're not responding to our transmissions. The alien technology is probably appearing as a hostile contact on their sensors." Lisa Kane's mental voice reached all 300 passengers simultaneously. "There's something else. I'm detecting fear from Earth. Not just military concern, but deep psychological terror. They know something is coming that they don't understand." Jake walked to the viewport, looking out at the familiar stars of humanity's home system. 3 weeks ago, he had been a simple cargo hauler captain. Now he could reshape matter with his thoughts and communicate across interstellar distances through enhanced consciousness. "They should be afraid," admitted one of the rescued colonists, a woman named Beth, whose transformation had given her the ability to perceive probability streams. "I can see potential futures, Captain. In most of them, humanity rejects what we've become." Dr. Richards accessed Earth's communication networks through methods that bypassed all known security protocols. The alien fleet's approach was detected months ago. Earth's governments have been preparing for invasion. Military installations are at maximum alert status. "They think we're the invasion," Jake realized. Tom's electrical field fluctuated with his emotional state. "How do we convince them we're still human when we're barely sure of that ourselves?" Jake examined his hands, watching as they phased slightly between dimensions. The alien serum hadn't just enhanced human capabilities, it had unlocked potential that existed within humanity's genetic structure. They were still human, but they were human evolved beyond current understanding. "We show them," Jake decided. "Not through words, but through actions." Lisa's consciousness expanded beyond the ship, touching the minds of every enhanced human aboard. "Captain, there's something you all need to know. The transformations aren't finished. We're still changing, still growing into whatever we're meant to become." As if to demonstrate her point, one of the rescued miners from the Titan colony suddenly began to glow with soft blue light. His transformation had granted him the ability to manipulate atomic structures, and he was unconsciously converting the ship's atmosphere into a more oxygen-rich mixture, perfect for human respiration. "The genetic legacy those aliens gave us," Dr. Richards mused. "It's not just from ancient extinct species. Some of these sequences are prophetic. They're templates for what humanity could become given sufficient time and pressure." Jake felt the inherited memories stirring again, ancient wisdom from civilizations that had faced similar evolutionary leaps. Every species that survives to become truly spacefaring faces this choice: remain limited by biology, or transcend into something greater. "Earth Control is broadcasting warnings," Tom announced. "They're demanding we maintain distance and submit to quarantine procedures." Beth, the probability-perceiving colonist, looked up from her calculations with concern. "Captain, I'm seeing defensive preparations that could result in major casualties. Earth's military is planning to treat us as a hostile force." Jake made his decision. "Tom, transmit our identification codes and crew manifests. Dr. Richards, prepare medical data showing our human origins. Lisa, can you reach the minds of Earth's leadership?" Lisa's consciousness stretched across the solar system, touching the thoughts of presidents, prime ministers, and military commanders. What she found there made her enhanced form shiver with concern. "They're terrified, Captain, not just of us, but of what our existence implies. If humans can become what we've become, it means everything they understand about reality is wrong." "Then we'll have to show them a new reality," Jake replied, "one where humanity doesn't have to choose between staying human and becoming something greater." The ship approached Earth's defensive perimeter, where military vessels positioned themselves in attack formations. Jake could sense the fear and determination of the crews aboard those ships, humans preparing to fight what they perceived as an existential threat to their species. "Captain," Dr. Richards announced, "I'm detecting weapon locks from 17 Earth vessels. They're preparing to fire." Jake stepped forward, his enhanced consciousness reaching out to touch every mind in Earth's defensive fleet. When he spoke, his words carried harmonics that resonated directly in their minds, bypassing fear and speaking to the deeper human nature. They all shared. This is Captain Jake Morrison of the cargo vessel Vagrant's Hope. We are human. We are your people, returning home after an experience that has changed us but not diminished our humanity. We bring with us 300 of your citizens, rescued from alien experimentation. We seek not conquest but reunion. The response came from Fleet Admiral Williams, commanding Earth's home defense. Captain Morrison, you've been listed as missing for 4 months. The vessel approaching our system doesn't match any known human technology. Because it isn't human technology, Admiral. It's alien technology that we've adapted to serve human needs. We've learned things out there, become capable of things that challenge current understanding. But we're still your people and we're coming home. A long pause filled the communication channel. Jake could sense the debate raging in the command centers, the conflict between military caution and human compassion. Finally, Admiral Williams responded, Captain Morrison, you'll submit to quarantine procedures at Lunar Station. Medical and scientific teams will need to evaluate your condition and that of your passengers. Jake smiled, feeling relief flow through his enhanced consciousness. Understood, Admiral. But I should warn you, we're not the same humans who left Earth. What we've become might challenge everything you think you know about human potential. We'll face that challenge when we understand what we're dealing with, Captain. Welcome home. As the New Horizon adjusted course toward Lunar Station, Jake looked around at his transformed crew and the hundreds of enhanced humans under his protection. The real test was just beginning. Lunar Station had never hosted guests quite like these. Admiral Williams stood in the observation deck, watching through reinforced transparent aluminum as the converted alien vessel approached the massive orbital facility. The ship's hull seemed to shift and flow like liquid metal, responding to the will of its human occupants in ways that defied engineering principles. Medical teams are standing by, reported Dr. Amanda Foster, Earth's leading xenobiologist. Though I'm not sure our equipment will be adequate for whatever we're about to encounter, Jake Morrison materialized, there was no other word for it, in the station's primary docking bay without benefit of airlock or environmental suit. His enhanced form seemed to exist partially outside normal space-time, appearing exactly where he needed to be. Captain Morrison, Admiral Williams spoke through the bay's communication system, you're not following quarantine protocols. Jake smiled, his voice carrying clearly despite the absence of atmosphere in the docking bay. Admiral, the old protocols don't really apply to us anymore. But if it makes you more comfortable, I'll follow whatever procedures you establish. Dr. Foster activated emergency atmospheric controls, flooding the bay with breathable air. Captain, how are you surviving? In vacuum. Enhanced physiology, Jake replied, though the explanation was vastly simplified. The truth was that his transformed body drew energy directly from quantum fluctuations, making traditional life support unnecessary. The alien serum didn't just enhance our existing capabilities, it unlocked potential that was always there. Lisa. Kane phased through the hull of the New Horizon, her form shimmering with silver light. Admiral Williams took an involuntary step backward as she appeared beside Jake without any visible means of transit. Admiral, Lisa's voice resonated directly in his mind. I apologize for the unconventional approach. We're still learning to control our new abilities. Telepathy, Dr. Foster breathed, her scientific excitement overriding her caution. Captain, are all of your people exhibiting similar capabilities? Each transformation is unique, Jake explained. Tom Bradley can interface directly with any electronic system. Dr. Richards can manipulate biological structures at the cellular level. Others have developed abilities we're still cataloging. Tom's form flickered into existence in the docking bay, surrounded by cascading electrical discharges. Admiral, I've been monitoring your communication networks. Earth's governments are divided on how to respond to our return. Admiral Williams exchanged glances with Dr. Foster. What have you discovered? Approximately 40% want to study us, 30% want to weaponize us, and 30% want to eliminate us as a potential threat, Tom reported with clinical precision. There are also significant religious and philosophical concerns about what our transformation means for humanity's future. Dr. Richards appeared through what seemed to be a solid wall, his enhanced form having learned to phase through matter at the molecular level. Admiral, we'd like to request permission to bring our passengers aboard Lunar Station. Many of them have families on Earth who believe they're dead. How many passengers are we talking about? Admiral Williams asked. 293. Survivors, Jake replied. Not all of them have undergone the complete transformation. Some retained baseline human physiology, but gained enhanced durability and longevity. Others developed specific abilities related to their original professions. Dr. Foster activated her recording equipment. Captain, would you be willing to submit to medical examination? The scientific implications of your transformation could revolutionize our understanding of human potential. Jake nodded. We came back to Earth precisely because we want to share what we've learned. But Dr. Foster, you should know that our transformation isn't complete. We're still evolving, still discovering new capabilities. As if to demonstrate his point, Beth, the probability-perceiving colonist, materialized beside them. Admiral, I can see potential outcomes of this meeting. In 73% of probable futures, Lunar Station becomes humanity's first center for enhanced human integration. Admiral Williams felt the weight of historic moments settling around him. Integration? The transformation process can be controlled and guided, Dr. Richards explained. We've learned to synthesize the alien enhancement, serum, but more importantly, we've learned to tailor it to individual human genetics. We can offer enhancement without forced evolution. Lisa's mental voice carried notes of hope and concern. The aliens who captured us made a critical error. They assumed enhancement would make us controllable. Instead, it made us more human than we ever were before. Our empathy, creativity, and adaptability were amplified along with our physical capabilities. Tom interfaced with Lunar Station's computer systems, his consciousness spreading through the network like digital wildfire. Admiral, I'm uploading our complete logs, research data, and transformation protocols to your secure servers. Everything we've learned is being made available to Earth's scientific community. Dr. Foster watched her instruments spike as unprecedented amounts of data flowed into the station's computers. This is impossible. You're transferring exabytes of information in seconds. Enhanced consciousness allows for direct data interface, Tom explained. We don't think in terms of individual processing anymore. Our minds can share information instantaneously across any distance. Admiral Williams made the decision that would change the course of human history. Captain Morrison, I'm authorizing full diplomatic status for you and your people. Lunar Station will serve as a transition facility for the integration of enhanced humans into Earth society. Jake felt relief flow through his enhanced consciousness. Admiral, there's something else you need to know. The aliens who transformed us were part of a larger galactic community. Our transformation has attracted attention from other species. Some are curious, some are concerned, and some view enhanced humanity as a potential threat. Are we looking at first contact scenarios beyond your alien captors? We're looking at humanity's graduation to galactic citizenship, Lisa replied. The question is whether we'll be accepted as equals or viewed as an emergent threat that needs to be contained. Beth's probability calculations flickered through her enhanced consciousness. Admiral, I'm seeing a 92% chance of contact with additional alien species within the next 6 months. Our transformation has created ripples throughout local space. Admiral Williams looked out at the alien vessel that had brought Earth's children home, knowing that humanity had just crossed a threshold from which there would be no return. Then we'd better prepare for a much larger conversation, he said. Welcome home, Captain Morrison. Let's figure out what humanity becomes next. 6 months after the return of the New Horizon, Earth had become something unprecedented in human history. Lunar Station had expanded into a sprawling complex where enhanced and baseline humans worked together to prepare for humanity's emergence. As a galactic civilization, Jake Morrison stood in the center of the transformation chamber, watching as Dr. Jennifer Walsh, formerly a baseline human researcher, underwent the controlled enhancement process that his crew had perfected. Unlike the brutal alien experimentation they had endured, this process was gentle, guided by enhanced human consciousness that understood both the destination and the journey. "Vitals are stable," reported Dr. Richards, whose abilities had evolved to allow real-time monitoring of biological processes at the quantum level. Her genetic structure is accepting the enhancement sequences perfectly. The serum they used now bore little resemblance to the crude alien formula that had transformed Jake's crew. Through months of research and experimentation, enhanced human scientists had created something that honored human choice while unlocking human potential. "She's choosing her own path," Lisa Kane observed, her consciousness gently monitoring Dr. Walsh's mental state during the transformation. The process responds to individual will and need. She's developing analytical capabilities that will allow her to understand alien technology intuitively. Tom Bradley's form flickered between dimensions as he interfaced with communication arrays spanning the solar system. "Captain, we're receiving responses to our galactic broadcasts. 17 different species have acknowledged our enhanced status and requested formal contact." Jake smiled, remembering the fear and uncertainty of those first days after their transformation. Now enhanced humans numbered in the thousands, each having chosen their own evolutionary path while maintaining their essential humanity. "Any hostile responses?" Jake asked. 3 species have expressed concern about humanity's rapid development," Tom replied. "But 12 others are offering trade agreements and scientific collaboration. The galaxy appears more curious than threatened." Beth, her probability sensing abilities now refined to near-perfect accuracy, looked up from her calculations. "Captain, I'm seeing convergence patterns. Within the next month, we'll receive an invitation to join something called the Galactic Collective, confederation of species that have achieved post-biological evolution." Dr. Walsh's transformation completed with a cascade of golden light that filled the chamber. When she opened her eyes, they held depths that spoke of expanded consciousness and unlimited potential. "I can see it," she whispered, her voice carrying harmonics that made the chamber walls resonate, the mathematical structures underlying reality itself. "It's beautiful." Jake felt pride swell through his enhanced consciousness. Every successful transformation was a victory against the fear and prejudice that still existed among baseline humanity. Not everyone had accepted the reality of human enhancement, but those who chose transformation did so with full knowledge and consent. "Captain," announced Admiral Williams through the facility's communication system, "we're receiving a priority transmission from the original alien species that captured you. They're requesting permission to enter Earth space." Jake exchanged glances with his crew. The aliens who had inadvertently triggered humanity's evolutionary leap had maintained distant observation of Earth for months, but had never attempted direct contact. "Put them through," Jake decided. The familiar harmonic voice of the lead alien researcher filled the chamber. "Enhanced humans of Earth, we request audience with Captain Jake Morrison and his transformation subjects." "This is Morrison. What do you want?" A pause that seemed to carry the weight of cosmic significance. "We wish to apologize and to request your assistance." Lisa's consciousness reached across space to touch the alien minds, finding emotions that transcended species barriers. "They're not lying, Captain. Their request is genuine and their need is desperate." "Explain," Jake commanded. "Our enhancement experiments across 17 worlds have created a crisis," the alien admitted. "Other species we attempted to transform rejected the genetic modifications and died. We believed the fault lay in our techniques. Now we understand the truth. The enhancement sequences could only be successfully integrated by a species with humanity's unique evolutionary flexibility." Tom's electrical field fluctuated as he processed information from galactic communication networks. "Captain, they're not the only ones with this problem. 3 other technologically advanced species have attempted similar enhancement programs with catastrophic results. The galaxy is facing a transition period," the alien continued. "Species that cannot evolve beyond their biological limitations are being left behind as post-biological civilizations advance beyond their reach. We attempted to force evolution and instead created extinction events. Dr. Richards, monitoring the alien ship's approach through his enhanced senses, detected something unexpected. "Captain, there are human life signs aboard their vessel. Enhanced humans." Jake felt surprise ripple through his consciousness. "Explain." "When we learned of humanity's successful transformation, we sought out other human colonies that had been abandoned or isolated," the alien researcher admitted. "We offered them the choice you never received: voluntary enhancement with full knowledge of the risks and benefits." The view screen activated, showing the interior of the alien ship. Jake saw 12 humans, their forms bearing the distinctive signs of controlled enhancement transformation. Unlike Jake's crew, who had undergone brutal experimentation, these humans showed evidence of guided evolution that honored their individual choices. "We learned from our mistakes with your people," the alien explained. "These volunteers chose their transformations freely, with full understanding of what they would become." One of the enhanced humans aboard the alien ship stepped forward. "Captain Morrison, I'm Dr. Elena Vasquez, formerly of the Kepler colony. We've been working with these aliens to develop ethical enhancement protocols based on your crew's research data." Jake felt a complex mixture of emotions. The species that had tortured and experimented on him was now seeking redemption through cooperation rather than domination. "What assistance are you requesting?" Jake asked. "The Galactic Collective has issued an ultimatum," the alien replied. "Species that cannot achieve post-biological evolution within one standard galactic year will be classified as developmentally stagnant and excluded from interstellar civilization." Beth's probability calculations suddenly spiked. "Captain, I'm seeing new patterns. This isn't just about individual species evolution. The galaxy itself is undergoing a fundamental transformation. Species that can't adapt will be isolated on their homeworlds." Lisa's mental voice carried notes of understanding and compassion. "They're not asking us to save them. They're asking us to teach them how to save themselves." Jake looked around, at his transformed crew, at the enhanced humans who had chosen their evolution freely, and at the baseline humans who worked alongside them without fear or resentment. Humanity had achieved something that no other species had managed: evolutionary advancement that enhanced rather than replaced their fundamental nature. "Admiral Williams," Jake called, "I'm requesting permission to establish a joint research facility. If we're going to help other species achieve stable enhancement, we'll need resources and cooperation from both enhanced and baseline humanity." "Granted, Captain. This facility will serve as humanity's first embassy to galactic civilization." Jake turned back to the alien researcher. "We'll help you, but on our terms. No forced experiments, no coercion, and full consent from any volunteers. Enhancement is a choice, not an obligation." "Agreed," the alien replied immediately. "Your species has proven that evolution can be achieved without sacrificing the essential nature that defines a civilization. We hope to learn that wisdom." Dr. Walsh, still adjusting to her newly enhanced consciousness, looked up from her analysis of the alien data streams. "Captain, I'm detecting something else in their research. The enhancement sequences they've been using, they're not just from extinct apex predators. Some of the genetic markers match theoretical models for humanity's far future evolution." Jake felt the inherited memories stirring once more, ancient wisdom from civilizations that had faced similar crossroads. They found evidence of what humanity becomes, and they've been trying to force other species to follow the same path. "But evolution can't be forced," Dr. Richards observed. "It has to be chosen, embraced, and integrated willingly." Jake smiled, looking out at the stars that no longer seemed distant or foreign. "Then our job is to help the galaxy understand the difference between enhancement and evolution, between becoming more powerful and becoming more than what you were." As enhanced and baseline humans worked together to prepare for humanity's first galactic diplomatic mission, Jake Morrison realized that their transformation was just the beginning. The aliens who had captured them had inadvertently given humanity the keys to galactic civilization. Not through force or conquest, but through the uniquely human ability to grow beyond limitations while remaining fundamentally human. The galaxy was about to discover what happened when humanity decided to help rather than conquer, to teach rather than dominate, and to offer choice rather than force evolution upon civilizations struggling to transcend their biological origins. Jake looked at his crew, at the enhanced humans who had chosen their path freely, and at the baseline, humans who supported their transformed brothers and sisters without fear. Humanity had become something unprecedented in galactic history, a species that could evolve without losing its soul. The real adventure was just beginning. They grew. What Did You Inject Me With explores the theme of human adaptability and the choice between forced evolution and freely chosen transformation. Through Jake Morrison and his crew's journey from victims to pioneers, the story examines what it means to remain human while transcending human limitations, and how humanity's greatest strength lies not in individual power, but in our ability to choose our own path forward, while helping others find theirs.